So something different I want to show you here. So our power is off this morning, and it put a kind of an idea in my head. A lot of people, especially farmers, do ask about generators, and I had to do a lot of investigating before I bought one. It doesn't matter what you're powering, if it's just your domestic house, a farmyard, a workshop, it makes no difference. I had to do a lot of investigating to find what would work in the house, and I made a few mistakes. And hopefully, maybe by showing you what I have tried and what has worked and what hasn't worked, might help you when you're going to choose a generator for your house. I'm sure if you're on the internet now, you can't escape advertisements of companies, generators upon generators upon generators. A lot of the stuff that you see now, the scaremongering that's on the internet, and warn you of massive storms inbound and Ireland's going to be ripped off the map. It's all scaremonger, a lot of it. But at the same time, it does put in the head that the power might go off to people and they need to go out and buy a generator. Now, I'm just going to give you an idea of what works for us. So the first generator I had here was one I bought at an auction, really cheap. It was in a crate, or a yoke that you carry. It's more of a site generator. I think it was powered by a Honda 160 maybe, or something like that. And it was grand to run a small iron grinder or something down that category, but no good to buy the kettle or any of that kind of stuff. It just did not have the right power. So I sold it off, and I went and bought a suitcase generator. So a little one that you carry all in one unit. They're very, very popular. You'll see them in a lot of hardware stores. So the output on that one was around 2,200 watts, which is about 2.2 kilowatts, I think. And that was grand. It run a few things like the lights inside the house. Now in our house here, we have a family. Some of them like to turn all the lights on at the one time. And yes, it worked it, but you couldn't turn on an oven. You couldn't buy the kettle with it. You couldn't do any of those things. It would run a television, but it was very limited in what it could run. I traded it back in again, and I done a direct straight swap for this guy here. Now, this, don't worry about the brand, all right? I just went in and whatever was on the floor is what I bought, and I didn't go for the most expensive one. I went for one that could power what I needed. So this was recommended to me here. So the output in this one I think is around 6 kilowatts or 8 kVA. A lot of people are working kVA now, so I have to say it's been brilliant. I've used it a few times already. It'll run everything in the house. Internet was working, you could turn the heating on if you wanted. All that stuff was working, fridge, freezers, everything. And yes, I could buy me kettle too, which is the most important thing. But regardless of what generator you buy, your changeover switch is the first thing you need to get. And you need to get an electrician to fit that in. So this is ours coming out through the wall here. Our joint is going in here. Everything's turned off at the minute. So our joint is coming off here. Over before you turn on your generator. And the main reason for that is not just for the safety of yourself and your own house, but you have to think of lads that are working on the ESB themselves, because if you turn on that generator without it, you're sending power back them lines to them fellas that are working on the ground trying to restore stuff, and you can understand yourself how dangerous that would be. So changeover switch would be the number one thing you do before you buy any generator. So I'm just going to flick this choke on. I'm going to go along here and start it. That's it. Simple as that. Alright, so now we're up in the milking parlour, and if our power simulator power goes off here, just when we are showing generators today, this is the setup we have. So we had a couple of ways we could have did this. We do have a changeover switch in, I'm going to show you that in a second, but we're going to put a socket out here. The risk of that would be that it could get hit by something. It's an awkward little spot, and I didn't want to stick it out in the wall, so I decided on this one we'd put a heavy lead. Now our electrician done this. Don't ask me what grade that lead is, but it's plenty strong enough to supply that. So you come in here into the dairy. Beside our fuse box here, we have our changeover switch. So the first thing you do is you shut off the mains, you switch it down towards generator. I'm currently running some hot water here. I'm going to hot wash through the machine while we're running this. Our big socket here now, we have to hook into this. That's our on. Is watch this middle clock here, the Hertz clock. We want to get it in the green. So we want to rev our trotter up now till it hits that green area or rest somewhere in the middle. Water's overflowing. But we should have lights here now. Right, with all the steam, there's the lights on. It's just very hot water at the minute, so everywhere's going to be steamed up. So we're going to switch on our machine. There she's on our pump. So for me to hook up that generator if the power goes off, it'll take me about 10 minutes, and that'll run the entire farm. It has done so when the power has been off last year. Around that Christmas time we had that last storm. So I'm going to let that run now for about 10-15 minutes, and that'll do that a world of good. We do that about 3 times a year, and that normally will keep your generator running, because that very generator that I have, a neighbour of mine bought the exact same one and left it sitting for 1.5 years, almost 2 years unused. And then when that storm came in the Christmas time, that same storm that made us buy that, it wouldn't work. The worst thing for a generator is to lay up, so you have to use it. So every so often, hook it up, plug it in and run it. And not just run the generator on its own, put it on the load, make it run something. So that generator is an 18 kVA output. When I was going to look up at generators, I wasn't sure what power that I needed to get. I was told loads of different stories that you need 28, 30 and so on. So I spoke to one of the guys in the ESB. He came out, done a general check around of what I was using. He said 16 kVA would run the whole place, everything on, coolers and all, without any issues. Even in time to come, if you got robotic calf feeders or yard scrapers or whatever it is, it'll still run them too. Best thing you can do is get an electrician or get someone out from the ESB to come out and check your power consumption throughout the farm, and that'll tell you what you need. Now, if you're ever out in an electronics store, one thing you're probably 100% guaranteed to see, and that is power packs. They're everywhere nowadays. We were lucky enough about 2 years ago to get this one sent to us. This was an EcoFlow Delta Max 2. I was primarily thinking that we were going to use it on the back of the Kubota when I was over doing maybe drilling out posts, using a Kango. You can even use an inverter welder on it. This thing has been great. It's been used an awful lot by us over the last 2 years. I was amazed by how much it actually could run, and that was the thing. Output is what matters to me, and having enough output to run some of the essential things in the house. That's all that really matters. Sometimes if we're going to the beach or whatever, we'd also bring this in the back of the car, because you can run hair dryers, and I have 5 girls, so of course none of them use the hairdryer. I'm talking about me. Someone has to dry this long lush hair of mine. It's shocking handy to have out and about, even when I'm charging the batteries from my camera, which I have to charge them regular. I have chargers hidden everywhere throughout the farm for keeping the batteries topped up, but when you're out and about, this is brilliant. So when we were showing the generator being set up in our home, our power went off then for practically a full day. Now that was notified to us. We knew it was going to go off, and it was off for a good few hours that day. There was a local place getting connected up, so that wasn't such a big deal. We walked around that. But then our power went off the night before Halloween, unexpectedly about 7 o'clock in the evening, came back on around about 11 that night. Now for us, it was an issue, could plug in the generator, run the house, but it was an issue for my mother. She hasn't been particularly well this last while, and she does have a hospital bed in place. She also has a breathing apparatus that she has to put on several times a day to help with her breathing. And these are things that cannot be missed. And that's what this really shined for us, because it kept her bed going. It kept all of those things going for her. It run a light. It run a few lamps around the house too, and everything was running. It run it all night. That's the beauty of it. So that was what influenced what we're about to show you here. So after we worked with them that time, they sent us an email. They wanted us to try another few products. And that happens a lot when you work with companies. We turned them down because there was nothing we really needed. This was plenty suffice for us. But with that exception now with my mum, and desperately having to have power in the house at all times, it made me reach back out to EcoFlow and ask them possibly for another one of these, because hauling this from house to house, it's not light. It's fairly heavy, this unit, and there's always that situation where we could be away with it and then the power would go off and there would be no way of powering the home house. So this actually isn't the same one. This is a Delta Max 3. This is the next one from this one. You can see one thing straight away, smaller, and it is way lighter. This is way more mobile to carry around than this, but it has all the same characteristics as the other one has. Difference being that you have your plug sockets now on the front, versus on this one they're on the back with all your outlets there, and then these are your inlets here for charging. Everything now is on the front. It's also got a nice kind of a silver or a dark silver finish on it now, so it looks more like a home house appliance than it does a battery pack. Another thing about it as well is it's an awful lot quieter than this one. So this one here has no noise of it for a while, but once it heats up, fans do kick in and you will hear the fans run. It's not massively loud or anything. It's just this one here, they're designed a little bit different and they are a lot quieter, about 50% quieter. So with this compact design, you still have 11 power outlets. So you have the versatility of several different types of power outlets, which would work perfect for most domestic houses and even all your mobile devices. So the output of this unit is 1800 watts, but you can have a power surge up to 3600 watts. And you can power devices that are up to 2400 watts. So things like hair dryers, which I just mentioned, things with heat elements in them that require high voltage, this can run them. Plus, if you find yourself getting short on power, you can flip this open. You can buy separate battery units to sit by this and you can add them into here and you'll be fit to boost your power or double your capacity if needed. So a family member of ours was talking to me about this unit as well because they've seen it working in with Mum and the devices she needed. And they needed in their house to run the Wi-Fi. They have a farm as well, but they have some units in now where Wi-Fi is badly needed. So this is the kind of things that people get hard to live without, believe it or not, in this day and age. These things are becoming increasingly more popular for them sorts of scenarios. Another feature which is very important, I think, is a thing called Xtreme. So this is for fast charging, but it's fast charging with protection so you don't damage the devices. Things like laptops and so on, you just don't want to overload those because you can damage the batteries of them very, very easily. So you're protected with this Xtreme device. There's a lot of X's in this video, but they have another thing called X-Guard, which basically is waterproof and drop proof. So to a certain extent, you're not going to kick it off the top of the roof of the house. You can give it a go if you want, but probably not the best thing to be at. But within reason, it is drop proof and it is, to a degree, splash proof. That's the way I would put it. Another important question you might ask is, how do you charge this thing? Well, you have the ordinary AC charging unit, just on the wall in your house, or you can use the solar, which you've seen before on the Delta Max 2, which is just a fold-out solar panel that comes in a pack. And when the sun does finally come out in Ireland, like a day like that there, you can get a nice bit of charging from that. For instance, for our previous model, we left the solar panel on the south side of our garden shed. Just made two little hooks so you can hang it up, and that keeps it charged all the time. Because EcoFlow sent this unit out to us, we're going to list them as the sponsors, naturally enough, of today's channel. Another thing they've asked me to mention is they're running a Black Friday deal. Right up until the end of this month of November, you can go out and get as much as 60% off the price of this. If you use the code iFarm, you get a further 8% off that. So I'll put a link in the description for all of that information if it's something that you're interested in. No worries if not. When I done the first video on the Delta Max 2, in the first 3-4 months I had 7 or 8 different companies, all quite well-known companies, reaching out to get us to try one of their units, and I decided not to do that because why change when the one that we got originally worked so well for us? So that's why I stuck with the one brand. It's been reliable. They're in this business a lot longer than some others, and they have developed themselves a good name over that time. So it wouldn't really make sense to me to really go anywhere else. Ice? Load of ice. There's a lot of ice this morning. There's nice frost last night. I like to see good hardy weather rather than that old wet, mild weather, which is muggy and horrible and fills the air full of bugs and everything. So yeah, nice change. No midges about the day either. The first job of this morning here is we're going to take these heifers home. My girl's over there feeding the calves at the minute. I decided to take them home today, which is Monday, because the girls are off school today, making use of them when they're here. Many hands make light work. So all we're doing basically is we're going to put them in here now. We're going to put half of them in here, run them up behind the crush, and run them up the crush and into the trailer. You might have seen us doing this before. It's not a big long journey from here to home, so we're not going to pack the trailer full. We're just going to take maybe 4 home at a time. Another reason why I want to get the heifers home is I want to get the calves in, Ground is pretty wet now, so it is. Calves are starting to clat more than anything, so I think the best place is for them inside. We don't want to be doing any damage to our fields if we can help it. So take that far wall. I'll probably get over here a wee bit. I'll try to get around. I want to get that door that Danielle comes about here, but I still want it to fit open it. You know what I mean? Or lift it up rather. That'll work. That'll work. You can see the hassle that we have trying to get them in that corner. It can be hard work at times. Shh. Up. Get on. Is it frozen? Just turn down and run a bit. The taps are frozen. Let it run for a second, it'll probably come. That's coming now. They've been constipated. It'll come eventually. Go on back. Take it handy now, go on. Just as we leave ourselves too tight. Might have had. Right, I'll just pull up a wee bit. Well, that is our heifer's home. That's one job done. But we've got an hour till lunchtime yet, so we're going to use it. I'm going to park this yoke back here. I'm just going to leave it here for washing later on. But we're going to go over and get our calves put in now and just get everything done today and finish with. So I'm a passenger now in my Kubota. Our eldest girl Danielle's learning to drive. Not going to put the camera on her. I'll let her concentrate on what she's doing, but she's learning to drive now in her own lanes back and forth. She'll be doing our exam for her licence now to get her licence, hopefully, car licence, in a short time. It's hard to believe the way the years goes on, but yeah, she's learning the Kubota here and she's doing really well. Them soaked down, yeah. No, yeah, they are now. Just reverse up there behind. Put your foot on the brake, pop her in neutral, in the middle, yeah, pull up your handbrake. That was a good one. Fair play to you. While we were at home doing our bit, the girls were throwing back the rest of the sails just left here. Sophia's after scraping down the cubicles. We're just turning off the electric fence here because we're going to try and channel these girls. This direction here might be the easiest to get them out, so we're going to put up a white tape here across to get them out. Right, you girls, look how wet it is now. around here it's just getting very boggy, so it's time for the gwin. Go to that post. Right. We call each other names here in private. We don't say it out loud though. That's even enough there, Nicole. You can fairly hear the river. A lot of water this last while in the river. Down there in the meadows. The river's starting to subside now, but you can hear the roar of the rivers.
Yeah, I got a bit of mail in the bucket.
Right, that easy to get out. Try go over here a wee bit towards the silage field and they might follow me over. There's a layer of grass in this back silage field again. Unreal the way it grows. Give you a bit of false hope here thinking you're getting in here. But just as Sophia had the powers this morning, she's ahead of the game.
I just told her to do that. So wet.
I'll do it. Come on. Come on, success. That'll be all new to them now because they've never been in a shed like that before, so they'll obviously be very nervous with the new digs. After a day or so they'll settle. First one's after grabbing a big lump of silage there, that's a good sign. We just put the trots over there as well. Once I had the help I said right, we'll get everything out of the field now and done. I have a few fences and stuff to take down, which is given a hard frost now in the next couple of nights, so I'll be fit to drive in the fields early in the morning and lift all of those. And that's a great morning's work. It's just gone 12:30 now. We started about, what, 10:30? So a nice bit of work to get done. That's officially all of our cattle inside. Yeah, just not feeling our best this last few days, and unfortunately that's just the up and downs with it at the minute. We also had another little bit of bad news during the week. So we mentioned a cow that was out in the field that had a swelling on her leg. Initially we assumed it started from a stone bruise or maybe a little bit of an infection on her hoof. Well, we put her on several different treatments. She was looked at. Everything we could do was done with her, but she got more and more swelling going up her body. Now, she had good appetite, but she was losing a lot of weight. Her mobility, you could see that she was sore. Despite being on painkillers, she was still sore. And that went on just for too long. And I had to make a decision then, unfortunately, yesterday, to put her to sleep. It was the humane thing to do. It just went on for long enough. I have a tendency here at home. If an animal is ill, it doesn't matter. Well, it should matter to some, but to us, sometimes we don't look at the costs involved in getting a vet out, getting a hoof man out, all the antibiotics versus, you know, what the overall outcome we probably have in our head was going to happen anyway. I feel better with trying every option first, and we did. We put everything into her. We knew we'd never get the value ever back of it, but it didn't mean that. It was a humane part of this job to try your best, and we did do that. And unfortunately, had to make the choice a couple of days ago to get her put to sleep and taken away because she wasn't going to get better. She was getting more and more painful. She was eating meal. We took her out every day in the yard for a little bit of walk around just to keep her leg moving, but the more we drained it, the more it swelled up. Couldn't let that go on for any longer. So yeah, we did have a loss. 756 is no longer with us. I don't like to lose animals. I just never liked that part of the job. It does happen now and again, and this week was one of those times. Next week is a new week. We'll see you then.